Welcome, everybody, back to the Board YouTube channel for Pick and Roll. This is your daily NBA betting show on weekdays where we go through the NBA slate and try to find the best bets for you to make, courtesy of PipsNBA here, my co-host. Make sure you follow him at PipsNBA on Twitter for additional stuff. But we had the full weekend to marinate that bad beat against Keldon Johnson. We'll talk about that in just a second here, but we're going to start off the show a little differently and get right into the picks to make sure that we can lock in the best prices that are available. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in for a brand new week here. There's two plays here. We are a little out of sorts because of the time zone change. People in the chat remember that it's typical twice a year. Well, actually, it's 4 times a year because the problem is Pips is in Croatia. I'm in Canada. Because European clocks go back earlier, this week is a strange one where Pips is going to be on a bit of a different time, but the clocks in Canada will change, and North America will change on Sunday. We'll be back to normal for us, but for you guys, it remains the same. Let's go to the picks that we have over here. So first of all, we are going to the Bulls and Pacers game for a Bruce Brown under, going back to the unders for this week. And we have Bruce Brown at minus 125 at BetMGM for 13.5 points. I've seen this one also if you're able to shop around here. We like to give a widely available price at a widely available book like BetMGM, like DraftKings. However, if you want to shop around, you can find this at 365 for 120. You can find this at BetRivers for minus 122 at the moment. So great chances to find some other numbers by using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. It took me 2 seconds to pull up the Bulls and Pacers and see who had the best line. Use the link in the description, betstamp.app/theboard to always find the best available prices. But our second pick is an SGP. It's Pistons at Thunder. A little bit weird for prices. I'll explain in a second here, but it's minus 105 currently at BetMGM and could also be available at DraftKings. It's Cade Cunningham over 5.5 assists and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 25 plus points. So why it's weird. MGM, we have this no problem. DraftKings in US apparently has this at minus 105. DraftKings in Canada, which I have access to at the moment, is at minus 125. So if you are in Canada, bet this at BetMGM. If you're in the US, we imagine that you are able to get this at minus 105 at MGM or DraftKings. So a bit of a strange one there, but regardless, that's the price that we like here. Let's go back to that first pick, Bruce Brown. Pips, what are you liking about Bruce Brown in his matchup here against the Bulls?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's tough. Like, for first game of the season, he had the tremendous game. He scored 6 threes and didn't do much besides that. He ended up the game with 24 points. And a huge outlier. In the next game against the Cleveland, he had only 6 points, even though he played 32 minutes. And I somehow expected the today's game against the Bulls to be close to that game he played against the Cavs than it is against the Wizards. That Wizards game was 203 points game, huge pace, no one played defense. It was like a pickup game where Bruce Brown scored 6 threes, and I think he won't come close to that throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So the next game, he only shot 1 3 against the Cavs and scored 6 points. I think something similar. Bulls don't have a good backcourt defense in the starting lineup, but then coming, Torrey Craig coming, and Javon Carter coming. So Bruce Brown will get that matchup for like half the game. And on the other side, Bruce Brown is probably guarding Zach LaVine the entire game. So I wouldn't be surprised with some foul trouble or even exhaustion with trying to guard the opposing best player. 3.5 too much for me in this kind of slow-paced games against the Bulls. And also, I expect Bruce Brown to be average like this season. So 13.5 seems a bit high.
What do you? Sorry, you cut out there. What do you expect his average to be this season?
So expected average for Bruce Brown, in my opinion, should be like 11 to 12 points a game during the season. So 13.5 in a slow game, lower scoring game, then the opening season should be a bit of a reach, so I like the under.
Okay, good to know on that. Bruce Brown under 13.5. Let's go to the second play. As I said, once again, it is at SGP minus 105 odds. Cade Cunningham over 5.5 assists. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, a popular player on the show, to say the least. Love betting on Shea to go over his numbers. We have him 25 plus points. Talk us through this Pistons Thunder matchup.
So first, we had 3 games of Cade so far this season. He covered this line in all 3. Game with the Miami Heat 9. Second game against the Hornets, he was fouled out and still covered this line in 24 minutes. And the last game against the Bulls, he had 10 assists. So his numbers look great, and he will have a matchup against Lou Dort and help and just run off on people. So I think we'll see some driving kicks from K line. And the second part of this bet is Shea. And yeah, he had a terrible game last night, but it was a blowout and he didn't play huge minutes. And knowing Shea, he will look heavily to bounce back from the embarrassment last night. So yeah, I just think the anyone top Shea. I mean, Lavin scored 551 last night against the Pistons. Looking to bounce back, clear this line in like 85% of the games last season. Pistons overall, pretty good matchup, and it should be a close game as the Thunders are on back-to-back.
Okay, so there you have it. Interesting handicap on motivation there for Shea. Really poor game last time out. Did he end up getting 10 points? I saw there was a threat he wouldn't get to 10.
7 points on 2.
So this is the first time I think I saw in 75 games Shea did not crack 10. An interesting little piece of information from the other host on the board show here, Kirk Evans, that we have on our Thursday show. He was on a Circles Off episode last week on the Circles Off channel, which is the Hammer's educational content division. But what I'm going to say, he said that motivation is an underrated part of handicapping in the NBA. And here's a good little example, perhaps, why we could see that. Shea coming off of a really bad game, looking to bounce back, well rested in the back-to-back setting. You mentioned that you think motivation plays a big role in betting the NBA.
Yeah, sure. And I watched that episode and I completely agree with Kirk on it's so huge. Narratives in NBA works probably great. We have so many examples of it when players are just going for it against X team that they live on a bad terms or that didn't play well against them, or like Scotty Barnes playing against Nick Nurse and just being the best player on the court and so much stuff. Like, yeah, like watch me. I'll show you. I'll show you. I'm better than you, stuff like that. Like,
right.
It's always happened. Like Wendell Carter, it's interesting against the Bulls. It's always like I think he played an average like 5 points more than his usual average, and there are some stuff.
Yeah,
like, for sure.
It's tough. Like you said, like you just kind of have to know. You just have to have that kind of sixth sense to know what motivational tools will matter for a player and what won't. And you need to also take that and make sure that the lines aren't adjusting for that. So like, I don't know, NFL example, or like even NBA, like late season player incentives. If a guy has a certain percentage from 3 or hits a certain amount of threes, obviously he's going to be shooting. But people, everyone's going to know that. So it's going to adjust. So check his typical line and how it looks different.
Yeah, Kirk said also one great stuff, and that's like when Mikal Bridges played all the games throughout the season.
Yeah.
Game of the season just for him to play only 10 minutes, and if you had like just trying to look at AGP, and you'll get probably like plus 500, and the chance of him resting is probably over 50%. So you are getting a great return on that stuff.
Yeah. That perfect example. Let's go to the recap of the last Friday's plays, just to just because we have to reminisce about what happened. So it was very close to a 3-0 day. Pips' head is in his hands right now. It was a 2-1 day. It was a winning day. Şengün Vassell, no problem on the SGP. We had the Celtics and the holiday play, which wasn't as sweat free, but it was a comfortable, a good win on the SGP. Where we should have had a third comfortable win was Keldon Johnson under 19.5 points. He was under that total. I think he's at 16 at the end of regulation. So a small bad beat is the game goes to overtime, which is never fun for an under. But he also would have stayed under 19.5, and I'll show you the play that cost us the bet. If you guys are in audio, I apologize. But quickly here, small screens to avoid any issues with YouTube. From our friend at Prop Bomb was our NBA pregame preseason special. Here is the play. So I'll set the scene. 3 seconds left. Spurs up by 2. He plays for the Spurs with 3 seconds. The Spurs with the ball with 3 seconds left. All they have to do is just play out the clock, and he gets the ball. The dunk in the last second of the game. So not only does he dunk it unnecessarily at that point of the game, clock could have run out as well before he actually got to the rim to put it down. The comments here wanted to hear they want to hear your commentary from Badger Boy. I want to hear some scathing Pips commentary. I'm sick as well. You got to talk to us about it.
So first of all, I fucking hate my Rockets. They just failed me in that game. Completely failed me. Had a chance to close the game, and Jabari Smith was shooting free throws, and he missed both. And then, the other side, he has the game with some crazy floater, unbelievable stuff. And then Jabari Smith misses wide open 3 to win the game. And then we go to Dorton. So Jabari Smith ruined the game for our bet twice because he was guarding Bambi and terrible stuff. And then we get into the overtime, and it's okay. Keldon got some, I think he's and we go late into the game, and Rockets needs to score. Jalen Green scored to cut it down to 2, and there is 9 seconds left. So one logic thing should be you need to foul, and that's it. You foul, they miss the free throw, and logical. And the worst thing is they try to foul. Keldon Johnson was 5th player. They tried to foul previous 4, and they failed. And then out of everyone else on the court, Keldon Johnson received the ball in that part and just wide open dunk. He decided to go for it. That's also a thing. Even if they fouled him, he's not a great he'll probably score and miss second on purpose.
Yeah.
Or even just miss one. So many outcomes, and we got the worst one. And I'll just repeat for fucking this up. It was in our pocket. And then they decided to fuck up.
Yeah. I'm sure many of you seen the end of the Bulls-Raptors game, which was same night. That was a personal one for me as a Raptors fan. Also, not that anyone would care. I lost the underplay because of DeRozan missing 3 free throws and the Raptors not being able to close out a game, not being able to inbound the ball successfully to a teammate with 2 attempts to do so in the last 20 seconds. Yeah, bad night for sports. That was just crazy. That loss there. You said what did you? Let me find exactly the words you used when you texted me. You said we might have had the worst loss on our show picks ever, and then sent me that video. It's tough. I don't know if anybody else recalls a horrible beat, but that's the worst we've had for sure.
It is. Let me just say this for our followers. What is it with Tyler Hero that he looks like a fucking all-star whenever we are not on his points? Even in tough matchups, he's scoring 20 plus easily.
Yeah, you texted me as well during the game. You're like, Hero 12 points in first 7 minutes, 5 of 8 against Drew and Celtics. What is like this dude? I don't know. We're always finding good lines on Hero. We're always getting cursed by Tyler Hero and a little bit of a Keldon Johnson curse. But guys, as much as the bad beat and the Hero bet and the 0-2 first day, it's a winning start to the season. Uh, over we're plus just a bit over 1.5 units. So a fine start to the week, 15% ROI, fine start to the season. We're hoping to improve that with today's picks. 2 plays for you guys today. We have the Bruce Brown under 13.5 points, minus 125 at BetMGM. And we have the SGP here. Cade Cunningham over 5.5 assists and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander 25 plus points, minus 105 at DraftKings in the US, not in Canada, and at BetMGM. You want to add something?
I also want to say, like, stick to the channel. We'll have a big HGP short format.
Yes.
So I think you'll explain that the best.
Yeah. So starting this week, we're gonna add in an extra little bit of Pips picks to the channel on Mondays and on Fridays. Me and Pips are gonna record it right after this. We're gonna do a big SGP for YouTube Shorts. You'll also be able to find it on the Hammer HQ Instagram and TikTok. But we're gonna do a big SGP. So big SGP probably like plus 350 or more, typically around 400, I'd say, is the odds that we're looking for. So that's twice a week. Not the kind of more sharper plays we'd see on the pick and roll live streams like this, but Pips obviously looking for some sharp reasoning behind these plays, but it's a little bit more of a recreational sort of play. I think it's fair to say, and just looking for a little bit of extra fun for the Mondays and Fridays. So keep a lookout for those YouTube Shorts and also the Reels and the two. I don't think I'm selling it short, am I?
Yeah, great stuff for sure, but I'll still make profit on it. So just tune in and scale that stuff.
I didn't mean it like that. I was just saying it's more appealing as a recreational piece of content, I'd say, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So that's what we have coming out later. Let's say I'll decide today either 1:30 p.m. or 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. I think 2:30 is probably a good way to do it every week. So that would be in 5 minutes. That would be 2.5 hours, depending on your time zone. So thank you, everybody, for watching today's show. Again, we have that SB coming later. We have the rest of the week of Pick and Roll and the Thursday show with myself and Kirk Evans. Get subscribed to the Board YouTube channel. Drop a like if you did enjoy. Follow on your favorite podcast platform. If you're listening in audio form, by the way, take a minute to rate and review 5 stars to support what we do here at the Hammer. Me and Pips will be back tomorrow, same time. We'll see you again very soon.